here with John Meredith at Onlyoga in Atlanta, Georgia. And I just took his class, so I have yoga brain, sorry. And it was amazing. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
So I have listened to you for a very, very long time from home, and it's so lovely to actually be in your presence. And I'm just honored to include you in this great experiment that we're doing on yoga. So with that said, why should someone consider Ashtanga?
Why should somebody consider Ashtanga? Because it's a great practice. It really has, for me personally, I think it has everything in it that you would want out of just a physical practice. It's physically challenging, it really focuses the mind. But then the flip side, and why I really love this practice, is because it's really a very spiritual practice. So when you get into the breath in particular and start integrating that with the movement, there's really nothing else quite like it. And there's just a sense of freedom that comes with that that is unique to the practice, truly. So that would be my main recommendation. Obviously there's stress relief, you know, bigger muscles, thinner waistline, all those things that we love, but...
and how long have you practiced now?
About 20 years.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you first get interested or exposed to it, or what led you to it?
I went to a school in Sarasota, Florida, New College, and I came out of high school swimming competitively, and so I got to the school without any sports. It's a very strange school with, it really focuses on the academics, so a lot of reading and writing. So I got into this intense program, and I had no physical outlet really, and it was kind of like, what do I do? I just stumbled into this Ashtanga class one day with this teacher, Julia Quigley, and it was like, whoa, this is definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I just kind of literally floated out of the class and fell in love with the practice. And we did it, you know, it wasn't a strict Ashtanga practice. She integrated other styles, but it was really, it just was amazing for me. It was like definitely the hardest thing I had ever done. And at 18 or 19 years old, you know, I thought that just pushing through the practice was, you know, the way that you got elevated. And when I turned 30, it was like, wait a minute, this pushing, this doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing how that happens.
So it changes, right? You know, it's changed a lot for me over the years, but that was how I stumbled into it. And Julia was just an amazing teacher. She's this kind of earth mother, really spiritually based.
Yeah, very cool. So you have practiced a long time. So with that said, what has yoga done for you in your life?
Yoga is my life, so really everything I have at this point is related back to my practice in one form or another. My business, you know, is yoga, and my physical health and well-being all relate back to yoga. I've overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, and I think that the main reason for overcoming those obstacles, besides having really great friends, is this practice. So it's just an amazing things for me, personally, emotionally, and physically. So
very cool. You know, it's interesting because so many people will say to me, I've tried so and so, and it's not what I like. And I tell people all the time, just try something, just keep trying, and just explore by yourself. On the spiritual side of yoga, what are you exploring right now?
I went through a period a few years ago where I was practicing really intensely. My physical practice was really at a really high level, and so over the course of the last 5 years, I have really, which seems like a long period of time, but for me, it just seems like a blink of an eye really at this point. I have been really trying to focus on not pushing my body so hard, and allowing my practice to be more what I need each day. And I kind of take inspiration, I've always taken inspiration from Patabi Joyce, obviously, since he's really the father of this style, but really my inspiration comes from Krishnamacharya. And so over the last few years in particular, I've really tuned into that idea that each person has their own practice. And the Ashtanga form, I think, is a wonderful form, and it creates a great backbone. But in terms of my physical practice, I've really tried to move into a space where when I get on my mat, I'm not just doing X number of postures each day. It's more about exploring how I feel, doing a lot of meditation, and also working into postures just in a different way, kind of approaching the practice from a different perspective, which has been refreshing for me, and it's also made me appreciate how difficult it could be for people as they age.
Right.
And I have a lot of students now that are going from their 50s into their 60s, and even from their 60s into their 70s, and the truth of the matter is you just have to change a little bit. You know, your body changes and your approach to your practice changes. And so I've kind of taken that on a little bit. You know, I do a lot of practice and individual work, and it's forced me to really look at that. Because I'm going to continue to age, so I want to know what that's about.
Absolutely. Oh, it's been so lovely spending the morning with you. If somebody's in Atlanta or trying to find you, I mean, we all have Google or whatever, but how can they find you if they're in Atlanta?
The easiest way to find us on the internet is just to go to our website, which is onlyoga.com, onlyoga.com. You can always call the studio, 404-892-9100. We're on the corner of 8th and Peachtree, right in the middle of Midtown, so it's pretty easy to find us. But definitely, if you want to get a hold of us first, we can give you good directions.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.